Hello there. Please bear with me in this video as this is the first time I'm recording a building time-lapse video or like a live build kind of thing. And what you're seeing already is we have this nice empty spot in the industrial area. And I have an extensive tram network in my city, but the tram depot is not yet detailed. Alright, then let's get started. So no, I'm not tackling the trams first. Instead, because the avenue has a nice modern redevelopment from like the 2010s right across the street, I first wanted to tackle the front of that beautiful kind of like old tram depot, which has been modernized, right? You can see there's some glass roofs, and I'm going to add some modern twists to it later on. So right now, this is the main connection from the depot to the avenue, or rather that tram road, which is, or that tram lane, which is in parallel to the avenue. We have a tram stop right in front of the depot, which I'm also going to be detailing. Now, I love using these procedural object surfaces to convert this grass track, which is awesome for noise cancellation, by the way, or like making public transport, especially trams, quieter. And I love to convert these tracks to pavement or asphalt at tram stops. Now I'm adding some platforms here, but you will see me redo them because I found a better fitting asset, at least one that I think fits better in that location, because it has these fences at the edges, kind of like protecting the pedestrians from the heavy traffic on that big 4-lane avenue. Also, we're adding amenities, ticket things, and signage, trash cans, seating arrangement to that lovely tram stop right in front of the tram depot. Now we're detailing the front of that lovely old style tram building. I think this is from like the 1910s or like 1920s. It's a lovely building, and again, right across we have a new development from the 2010s. So I wanted to have this area look really pretty. Just tweaking that intersection quickly to also have pedestrians behave accordingly. And now here's what I said. We're going to add a modern twist to that old depot, because we already had this modern industrial shed with the glass cut-throughs in the roof. And I wanted to pick up that modern style as well and add this modern office extension off to the side of that old style tram depot. Again, this is going to be the main entrance, maybe for customers or for the workers. This is going to be detailed nicely with a few planters. And I had this service intersection here because services needed to kind of get in between there. That's just how I laid the service roads out. And quickly hit that through some procedural object surfaces. Now, of course, this is more an industrial type of yard, so I made sure to add some clusters of grass or overgrowth, some shrubs there. And also, I saw that this asset had this side entrance there, and I thought it would be fun to add a meeting point or waiting area for the tram drivers. Now, quickly detailing this sidewalk. I just love it when everything aligns nicely, for example, the fence to the sidewalk width. And this is the back of the tram depot. I wanted to have this glass modern industrial building to be the main entrance into the yard. And I was fiddling around with what kind of tram road I could use. I preferred these concrete slab ones for the main entrance into the backyard here. I love these networks. They're inserts. They're technically supposed to be used inside of existing roads, so you can kind of do your custom own tram lanes. But in this case, I just loved how it didn't look as if it's a road or like a sunken tram road like a lot of them look like. Instead, they look as if they're like flat on the surface. Fiddling around a bit with Node Controller here, you will see that I've managed to fix it by just extending and adding a new network or like a new segment at the end there, and then suddenly the node snaps correctly, and I just have to fiddle around a bit with the offsets here. Now you will also see that there's no catenaries. Again, this is supposed to be road insets or inserts, and I think the mod author intended for you to do your own custom catenaries on the road depending on the kind of width you have. I'm not going to add the catenaries because it's just too much of a hassle for me. Also, if you watch this layout from that kind of mid zoomed in distance, so not like hyper zoomed in, but not just zoomed out completely from afar, I think it looks okay, and it's totally fine to, you know, cheap out a bit here on time, and I just called it a day there. Now, concerning the layout, to be honest, I don't know a lot about trams or trains, so I just did something that I thought looked cool. I just had to make sure that there's at least one way for the trams to actually turn around, so I knew that this was like one of the only things I absolutely had to account for, like where can they turn. I mean, yes, they can reverse, but in some countries trams only have doors on one side and they're not reversible trams or like bi-directional trams. So yeah, I just had to make sure that this is somewhat reasonable, had that turn there in the middle. And the rest is basically just me putting down areas for the trams to park. It's literally that easy. And you'll see me use the node controller here to fix some of the issues with the transitions. Now, the next thing I loved to do and wanted to try out here was to do my own surfaces and completely remove the pre-existing ones. That's what you saw me do right there, because I thought it would be interesting to really show overgrowth, old asphalt, which areas are new and modernized and that kind of stuff. So later on we will use some decals for that, and I thought it turned out great and still kind of industrial and rugged looking. Now right here I saw we had these exits. They were too small. These garage doors, they were too small for trams to drive through. Also the depot, as you can see, is oriented in the different direction, so it wouldn't make sense for the tracks to go out that way. And I just thought, you know, they're not tram exits, but maybe just maintenance exits for heavy work vehicles that are needed somehow on these trams. So that's why I built that platform. Again, as I said, I'm playing around here with the surfaces a bit. You will see that I'm going to change that up once again and convert to these concrete slab inserts instead of the ones that just have the track here. And the rest is just honestly random industrial looking buildings or buildings I thought looked pretty, somewhat old but also somewhat utilitarian. For example, this one right here, I thought it looked so cool with that one single track going in that maintenance shed, and there's not even like an exit on the other side. It's just for a very specific purpose. You know, the tram goes in there and it has to reverse for whatever next step in maintenance is coming up. So of course there's not just going to be trams, but also vehicles and people moving around in that yard. And as I said, these are initially supposed to be inserts into a road. So what you see me do here is, you know, that one main gate in front of the road. Why shouldn't service vehicles or vehicles needed on the premises not just go through there as well? So that's why I connect the road up there. It's not really connected, just visually, you know, it just looks like it. Again, making sure to check out what I want the surfaces to look like. So I'm removing one sidewalk because in these industrial facilities, I'm kind of thinking it would make more sense to just have one dedicated sidewalk for the workers. And here I'm using PO surfaces to just, you know, have these inserts work a bit more nicely. Now the parking lots and the service vehicles, I think I'm just going to speed this up a bit. I just love these assets. I don't even know if it makes sense, like these types of vehicles make sense here. I just love the quality of them. I think they're very high detail. They look absolutely lovely, and I use quite a lot of them for industrial areas, for like all kinds of purposes. And that one smart car you see me place here, I actually turned the camera there and double checked that it's actually red, like a signal color or whatever. These are the kind of small vehicles they would send out to be on the scene as fast as possible. In case something happens to a tram or a signal, you know, you maybe don't need the large maintenance vehicle, but just have to get someone there quickly. So this main crossing between the tram tracks and the service road, of course, has to be marked accordingly, quickly plopping down 2 stop signs. And I think that is safe enough because, you know, trams aren't that fast, especially not on a maintenance lot like here. Now, of course, we need the workers to park somewhere. And I know it might not be terribly realistic, but I didn't have any space in front of the buildings. And this is not for the tram drivers, but rather like for the maintenance people, maybe parking spots for heavy duty trucks that deliver equipment, that kind of stuff, you know? So we needed a parking lot, and I had that lovely industrial looking building slash shed there. So I thought that was the perfect spot. I'm not too happy about how that road ends there, but I just kept it. You know, might just plonk down a shrub or some bushes down later to kind of hide that. And yeah, this is kind of like the somewhat nicer area where their work trucks are located, so I detailed that a bit. And that is what I've been saying. You know, I wanted this to look rugged, and that's why I'm adding shrubs, trees. And this is not, you know, the nice type of flowers, but just I want this to look grungy. This is the first time I'm really trying out to have something look rundown. My city might technically look a little too pristine, but oh well. Now the open yard, that's going to be dirt decals, but here for these tracks I wanted to show that this was paved or asphalt or concrete like years ago, but over the decades maybe it has gotten more deprecated and run down, and the asphalt is destroyed now. So also playing around a bit with the surfaces and the decals there, because to be honest, I still struggle a bit with detailing large flat open surfaces like this and make them look interesting and not samey and just completely boring. Now we have these beautiful trams here. My city uses a mix of these kind of very, very modern and very fancy trams and some older models, some older upgraded ones as well. And these ones, this one I plopped down there, for some reason the prop mod didn't convert the thingies, the articulated thingies, so I couldn't just plop these down, sadly. I mean, my city has these trams running, but I couldn't place them in the depot. That's what I'm trying to say. Now in my city, all the tram tracks, not the tram tracks, the tram lines are colored in yellow, orange, or red. That's why I'm recoloring them that way. And again, nice mix between older models, refurbished models, and very new tram models. Just gonna make sure to align them correctly to the tracks. That's what I'm just struggling with here a bit. Now we're following the avenue leading to the tram depot here, just so you can kind of see it's this industrial area, but on the other side we have this nice 2010 redevelopment. There's definitely some mixed use going on, some industrial loft. And lastly, I just want to show you this before and after. Thank you for watching.